Folks, this is Dave with Beginner for B Series. Welcome back to the channel. For those of you who are subscribers to this channel and are familiar with my content, I have a Kubota B2650 which got rebranded a few years ago. They don't make the B2650 anymore. They rebranded it as the LX model. I believe it's a 2610 and they have a version 3310 maybe. Anyhow, basically the exact same tractor, same setup as far as the cab goes. There's a couple of different features in there that I'm not real familiar with, so I'm not going to comment on, but as far as the PTO power and the horsepower, it's the same tractor. But we had about a week and a half ago, I want to say this video was done, we had a mix of basically sleet and snow. Really became a slushy, heavy, wet stuff. So this is my lower driveway. Like I said, if you've watched this content, we always start off here because the tractor is parked in the garage down on that driveway, and I'm just clearing out a spot now where I have one of my mailboxes for where my father lives, in like an in-law apartment. He has his own separate driveway. So the combination I have here is a front mount snow blower. I'll put the description of the model numbers and everything in the description. But up here, I just tackle where the plow hits the top of the driveway, so that's where your biggest buildup is. Clear that spot out, and then I've also got a rear blade. I believe it's the RB5060. It's a 60-inch model. It's a light-duty blade, but it does what I need it to do, which is some light pushing of snow and some dragging as well, and it allows me actually, because it's in a smaller size, allows me to get into a few of my spots where I have my oil fill tanks, my propane tanks, so on and so forth. Here I'm doing a combination because this stuff was so heavy and wet. There wasn't a lot of it, maybe about 3 inches, but where it's so heavy and wet, you can see it's blowing out. A lot of that is really compressed water, and so adding the blade and the blower at the same time allows me to kind of get right down to the pavement in the driveway. So kind of the purpose of this video, you've seen me do this multiple times, and I've had a lot of people that ask, especially down here where you're seeing the two garages, why I always shovel out from there. Basically, the reason for that is I don't like, I shouldn't say I don't like, but I driving over this stuff with this size of a machine compresses it down, and then I end up with tracks that just don't, you can't scrape it off, you can't blow it off, and trying to shovel it after is actually a lot of work. So I just try to get rid of some of that stuff so that the tires are not compressing the snow. But I thought I would make this video so that I could get some ideas out there. Is this the best way to handle my property? So I'm going to kind of let it play out. I have edited some of this so that you're not seeing just repetitive things, but basically here I am going from the top of the driveway down, which is kind of my move for this, and blowing it off to the side away from the driveway. And with this back scraping motion, as you can see in the upper right, I am leaving myself kind of a windrow of stuff, in this case, snow and sleet and slush, where I'll pick up here shortly, but it leaves a small amount. Then I just come in and do a couple passes and blow that stuff away. So you can see in the upper right there, the left portion, and when I back up here you'll see it. So there's there's what's left over from the blade dragging down. Not much with this type of consistency, but when I do this type of move, I end up with a fairly good pile of snow and slush in this case, that I can just make a couple passes and blow that off. So now we're up into the upper driveway. There's another 2-car garage, as you can see. Right here, just gonna get rid of some of this snow here so that the mail carrier can come in and get up nice and close to my mailbox. So that's what we're doing here. So nothing too special. I sometimes, or probably even most of the time, I'll flip the blade around on the back and push this, just because the town plow tends to throw a lot of sand, and you never know exactly what you're going to get. Sometimes there's big chunks of rocks. So I tend to rather push this than blow it, but today I was in a little bit of a hurry. This is before I've got to go to work. We just sort of went through this pattern for 3 or 4 storms where it was all overnight, and I woke up to this and I'm trying to get to work, but yet clean things out enough so that nobody hurts themselves in my driveway. So that's kind of the basis of what I'm doing up here, and just really trying to get this done fairly quickly. Again, here we are cutting through what the town plow left at the top. So it's nice and slow. You can see that's some pretty thick consistency. You can see there's a little bit of motion going on where I'm rocking back and forth. That's the augers kind of tossing this size of a tractor around. So it's heavy, thick stuff. So once I've kind of cleared out the top here, I'm going to then snow blow down, and this all depends on wind, which direction I'm going to blow it in. In this case, if I recall, I believe there wasn't much wind for the morning. I am up pretty high up on a hill, so we do get a lot of wind, so that is always a factor. And you can see here, same concept. I am snow blowing and I'm dragging at the same time. So I usually try to pick which direction is the wind's going to be blowing at, and try to start on either side. So if it's blowing from left to right, I start on the left side and blow to the right, and vice versa. Here I'm just getting into our front path to our front of the house. So we have a couple different entrances here on this house. This is one that we use a lot with the dogs. Come out the front door a lot here. I put this paved pathway in when we moved in here a few years ago. Made sure it was just a little bit bigger than the size of the snowblower box, so that I didn't have to shovel it and I wasn't tearing up the ground, and I could leave it in float mode. So at this point I've made a couple passes. You can see I'm blowing that out to the left, and you can see up to the top of the left side of the main screen here, that is just soaked, absolutely soaked, slushy snow. But either way, again, I'm kind of looking for some of you guys. I tend to get on here and show everybody how I do things and what I think is right, but this community has always provided way more than I've ever given, and I'm looking just for a little advice. Is this how you guys would do it? People out there that have some different ideas. Is this, again, I think what would make a lot of sense is I would back down against the driveway, the garage doors, that is, and I would just pull this. But I don't like I said earlier, I don't like driving on the snow and then trying to remove it, because where the tires are has always left a compressed layer of snow that in these cold temps can it basically leaves it and then eventually turns it to ice, and then I'm out there just trying to chisel away. And again, it's probably not a big deal for a lot of people, but for me, I got my father who's in his 80s, lives here. He does go out, get his mail, does different things. We have delivery people. I don't like leaving any strips of snow that can get compressed and turned into ice and get slippery. I don't want to throw sand on top of my driveway if I don't have to. It just makes for a mess, and then when you're trying to snow blow again, that's going all through the auger and through the box of the snow blower, and it just tears the paint right up. So I just try to avoid it as much as I can. So my move is to clear out what I can, as you saw, then I'll back in so that I have the least amount of tires coming into the snow. And in this case, the snow was pretty wet and it was pretty warm out already, so I probably wouldn't have had a problem by driving on it. As you can see, and as I'm watching the video, you can see I'm leaving some tire marks, but they're scraping right up. But in most cases, it's usually below the freezing mark, and driving on that will leave a compressed layer that just packs down, and I would not be able to get that snow where my tire tracks were off. So I don't know, I guess call me picky, but again, I just don't want to leave anything there that turns to hard packed snow, which then turns to slippery ice or just slippery snow in general. So kind of looking for the input. Like I said, this community's always given me so much, and I thought, you know, I'm in a rush for work, trying to get things done, and how can is there a better way? Is there a better way to do this? You guys tell me if you know. And maybe there isn't, but considering the equipment I have, how would you guys do it? Once I've scraped this away, again, I'm just creating that one area where I can make a few passes with the snowblower and blow all that stuff I'm pulling away. So that's the method to my madness here. So we just did a little circle here, and here's where I'm just going to come into it with the snow blower. Just blow that stuff away. This part that I'm on here is an extension of the driveway for additional parking. Unless we have people over, it's not really used that much. But obviously I want to keep it cleaned. It is paved. Get the snow off there. And the driveway, from the way that you're seeing it, so from where I'm blowing now to down where I'm backing up, slopes, so higher to lower. So the reason why I'm doing this, I could leave this, no one's really going to park there, nobody's going to drive on it to deliver anything, but as the day goes on, if that isn't removed, it'll melt and come across the driveway, and then I end up with that water basically freezing, and I end up with ice. So this is why I'm cleaning this part out. And this was not a fun snow to remove. it's always fun when you can sit here and play in the tractor. You can just see I flipped my jacket up there to see my watch. You know, how much time do I have before I got to get out of here and still try to make it to work on time. So that was the point there. But this pretty much wraps it up. So, you know, this in real time I cut out and did some editing. This probably took me about 25 to 30 minutes between all the, you know, doing the two driveways, reversing in, dragging, removing what I dragged. I mean, I feel like there could be a more efficient way. I don't know. Again, this is why I've kind of played this video out the way it is. You've seen me do this 1,000 times if you watch my videos. This is what I do here at my house, to get rid of the snow. And I said, you know what? I'm going to put it out to the community. Let's see what they can come up with. So that wrapped it up for me. I'm just going to go out before I put this away. Here I am just kind of cleaning up, getting rid of some of that slush sitting on the top, because it is going right back into my garage. It is heated, so all that would melt, but there's no drains in the garage anymore. So get rid of what I can so I don't end up with puddles. But I want to appreciate everybody for sticking around, and I can't wait to see the feedback on this. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you on the next one.